Hello and welcome. And today we are going to be discussing a potential fight that does look very likely for the back end of summer. So Dave Allen has announced on his Instagram, he's teased a potential title fight, which in his words is going to be the biggest fight of his career if it comes off. And I think all roads kind of lead to Jeamie Tkv, especially with the announcement of David Adelaide versus Filip Hrgović, which we will be covering in another video separately as well. So yeah, it looks potentially like we're going to be seeing for the British title, you're going to be seeing Jeamie Tkv versus Dave Allen. So initial thoughts really are, what do we think of the fight? I think stylistically, I think you're probably going to favour Jeamie Tkv, or Tkv, as his name actually is. You'd favour him from an outboxer point of view. Obviously, Dave Allen is somebody who has always struggled with movers. Obviously, not exactly a mover as such, but outboxers, of course, when you think of people like David Price, of course, that fight, Tony Yoka, the more world-schooled kind of, good amateur background, those kind of fighters, they tend to be Dave Allen's kryptonite. Obviously, just out, we've just seen him blitz Johnny Fisher. Somebody who, if we're being frank, I think a lot of us always kind of knew had limitations. I think with Johnny Fisher, though, it was just a case of the intangibles. We knew that he wasn't going to reach a particularly high ceiling, but just what ceiling was he going to reach? But obviously, once we saw the intangibles with Fisher, clearly not a great gas tank at all. Dreadful gas tank. Very, very questionable chin as well. Got hit, a couple of times and went down a couple of times. And also his powers of recovery looked to be very dodgy as well. He's somebody that got hit and he stayed hurt. So leading on from that, Dave Allen is on a high right now, and a lot of people, I would say, are probably overrating him slightly. I don't think he's improved masses in the last few years. I haven't seen some great improvement. He didn't exactly reinvent the wheel. In my opinion, he just beat somebody who was not that great going into the fight. That being said, the Jeamie Tkv fight, I think, will be competitive. As I said earlier, I think Jeamie Tkv is a good boxer. He's a slickster. He kind of showed us a few looks in that David Adelaide fight that we hadn't seen before. Because with, Jeamie Tkv, he'd kind of always been a bit of a slugger. Somebody who seemed to pay little attention to defense. Always seemed to be carrying a little bit too much rubble. And it really showed in that fight against the Brazilian guy on that Sky show, where I think he lost, didn't he? So, with all due respect, is it British title? Really? Is it a British title level fight? But that being said, who would you favour, at least initially going into it? As I say, I think I would favour Jeamie Tkv, but it does depend on what version of Jeamie Tkv we get. If it's the version that we saw against David Adelaide, I'm picking him over Dave Allen. Yes, Dave Allen's on a good run. Yes, he looked good last time out. But again, we have to take into account the quality and the level of the opposition. In my opinion, there is always that chance that, Dave Allen could land a shot, because we do know, for all of Dave Allen's faults, he does hit hard. He takes a bloody good shot as well. Let's not miss that. But he is there to be outboxed. He is a potted plant. That conditioning is a concern. Even in the Johnny Fisher fights, he was blowing out his arse at various points in those fights. So that's the issue with Dave Allen, is the conditioning going to let him down? Is he going to be able to keep up a good clip? The output as well with Dave Allen is another concern. He does go into that sparring partner mode, that sparring partner mentality. We've seen that a lot, where, of course, because he spent so long in gyms with the likes of Klitschko, with the likes of Fury, with the likes of Joshua, as a result, he's kind of become conditioned to just sitting there and taking punishment, hands up, not really doing a lot. That's all well and good. But at a certain level, that's going to get you in some trouble, because you're just not going to be active enough. And that has been the undoing of Dave Allen, even in thinking of fights way back, like the Dillian Whyte fight. Not saying he was ever going to win the Dillian Whyte fight. I think Dillian Whyte is just too high of a level for him, even back then. But it's the fact he just wasn't active enough. He'd just stand there and he just would not throw enough punches. Jeamie Tkv can be active. He showed that in the Adelaide fight. And I think he showed us a few strings to his bow that we hadn't seen before. As limited as you might say as Adelaide is, he seemed to only has that left hook. The left hook worked. And he did get caught. So there is going to be openings for Dave Allen. It's just, can he capitalise it on them? So again, I'll wrap this up quickly. I don't want to keep you too long. But going into this fight initially, I would say, I favour Jeamie Tkv in this one. But again, it does depend on what version of Jeamie Tkv comes in. I think from memory, I haven't got it in front of me, I think he was recently weighing as high as in the 260s or the high 250s. Which didn't suit him, and he was a little bit lighter against Adlai. He might have been normally in the 260s and then the high 250s. Might have got that wrong, something like that. But I know he was definitely lighter against Adlai, and you could tell he was so much more fleet of foot. He had so much better lateral movement, and the gas tank looked better. So if that version does turn up against Dave Allen, I would be favouring Jeamie Tkv. Thank you very much. Take care. Remember to subscribe. See you later. Thank you.